noticed that I will eat breakfast. I don't like eating breakfast. So when I eat breakfast, it gets me tired. So I had to sleep when I eat breakfast. So because there is not so much customers early in the morning, I will take breakfast and sleep. So the first customer will come and knock my door to open for me to answer to them. So I did this for 2 months. And after a time, I became so tired that I sleep for customers to wake me up every day to answer them. Is this the way I will continue my life? So I did not allow them to sack me. I resigned. No, I did not resign. I eloped. It was because I went on a wall. I didn't tell anybody where else. I just left the office and I didn't come back again till today. All my things, and I just left everything there. I just made up my mind that I cannot stand. I can't continue like this again. That it's time for me to move on. I moved on and I started trying to put things together, do some trainings, self-development and all that. And one day I met a man that I wanted to work with. And I saw him going one day. I walked up to him, the MD of, he's still the MD of System Specs, Mr. John Abarrow. Walked up to him and I excused him, and he asked if anybody sent me to him. I said no. I said, so how can I help you? And I remember making just these 2 statements. I want to work. I need a job. That was all I said. He said, okay, come and see me in the office tomorrow. And I sat down in the office with him the next day. He looks at my resume and he started writing some things. So like Jesus somebody will be asking Jesus questions and he won't answer them. He will just be writing on the floor. That was the way the guy was just writing on my CV. After a time, he looked up and he said, we don't hire average people in this place. He said, we don't hire average people in this place. I said, I'm not average. He said, okay, tell me, what's the best thing you have done ever in your life? I just thought to myself, Abba, just 6 months before then, I started a teens church. And the teens church has grown to 300 people from the scratch. So I told him exactly what I did to get to that 300. And he wrote again on my resume. And he said I should go downstairs to go and meet the HR manager. And I got my letter before I left. Now, why did I say that? Whatever you do is no waste. Whatever you do. Okay, I had to take someone on project management one day. She was to go for, so one of the things I do is I prep people for interviews. She was to go for an interview, a project management job. He had a project manager, she's a PMP, but between the PMP, between having the certification and really doing the job, it's not the same. It's so, there are some of us that really can jack book seriously and then you just pass. But between the certification and the work itself is not the same. So she did the PMP, she had the PMP, but she had 2 children almost very close together. And having children is another project on its own. So she was doing project and she did not know. So I was told to prep her for an interview. So I asked if she knows what kind of food she knows how to cook, the kind of soup she knows how to cook best. And she said edikaikong. So I told her, tell me about edikaikong. And she started telling me how she will start, how that she will go to the market to buy the things she wants, how she will prepare those things, and how that she will put on the light and now start adding different things at different times. How many project managers do we have here? Any project manager? Oh, no. Okay. So, project management has phases. The first phase is a project initiation. In the project initiation, you think about what you want to do. So I told her, the first thing you do is you even think that somebody wants to eat edikaiko. So that's your initiation. Then you get into planning. You're planning, you're putting together, you need this kind of vegetable, you need this kind of fish, that is the planning. And then in part of the planning, you go to all those things, then you begin execution. You begin to do the thing itself. Then while doing the execution, you're also controlling. You are tasting to check and be sure that it's sweet enough and there is enough. That is controlling. You are controlling and managing the project. Now until when you finish cooking it and you serve it for someone to eat and the person is like, oh, wow. At that point, the project is closing. So you have fulfilled the 5 stages of project in the course of your cooking. And you did not know it was project you did. So, why I said that for you to know that when you are going for an interview, what you do, you tell story. And you don't tell somebody else's story. It is your own story you tell. Because if you tell your own story, do you know they will not be able to corner you? In the course of your telling your own story, they will ask you a question. But you know you are the only one that know the answer. Because it is your story. That's what interview is supposed to be. If I sit down before an interviewer and they ask me, tell us about yourself, they are in trouble. Because they will not be able to do any other thing. I will tell them everything about myself. I will tell them about every organization I've worked with, and not just the name of the organization. I will tell you how that the organization... I will tell you so much about the organization that you yourself want to resign and go and join the organization I'm leaving. Then I will now start telling you what they do in the organization and how what I do in the organization fit into what they do and how it adds value to what they do. By the time I am done, the time of the interview is finished. And they're like, there are 2 interviews that I work in the 3rd place now I live in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. So I recently changed my job in May. So I consult. I have this consulting firm, but I also work as an HRIS. So I do human resource, but not the administrative part of human resource. It's the IT part of human resource that I do. So this last job that I just changed in May, I had this interview session, and this panel, directors of the organizations, had to meet with me. So, and they asked me the same question, tell us about yourself. And so I started talking, and I think I've spoken for 30 minutes. And the guy just started, a particular guy, an Egyptian, the director of IT, just started laughing. He was just laughing, and I'm like, I'm not a jester. So why are you with this person? So I still started talking. After a time, I now stopped. Like, sir, is there any problem, sir? He said, no. That what you are saying, I don't understand. You are just passionate about your job. Why are you this passionate? I said, well, that is my story. Of course, the rest is history. They didn't have choice. They had to take me. And I'm saying this so you understand that except you don't want the job, except the reason you apply for the job is just because of the money. If you are doing the job because, hey, this is mine, you can get that job. And you don't go also with the mindset of, I must get it, so I will do everything. No. You go with the mindset of, I am going to show you that I am the best. If you did not choose me, even you too will regret. That is how you should go for any job. Okay, let's get to where we are going today. So those are not supposed to be part of what we should talk about today. But I needed to tell someone so that You don't get intimidated by anyone at all. It doesn't matter if the person finished primary school from Harvard, secondary school from Oxford, and went to different university in Yale. It does not matter. Let them talk to you. It's my story you want to hear. And I will tell you my story. And don't lie about it. Because if it's your story, they will not be able to puncture it. Because it happened to you. It is you that can tell them, this is how it happened. This is the way I resolved it. Okay, why do people quit their job? Why do people quit their job? So I've heard people here, some people have been sacked here before. So has anybody resigned before? You've gotten a job and you resigned at a point? Can I see your hands, please? Okay, good. So we have a number of people that have. So why do people quit? Can I have three, 4 people? Tell us, why did you resign? Why did you resign? So the ground rules, let's be clear. It's important that we talk. If we don't talk, I will just sit down too and we'll all be looking at ourselves. Let's talk. I want you, it's supposed to be a thinking session. We want to be able to activate our something within you. Just something, a can-do spirit, it is possible spirit. That's what we want to. And I want you to picture yourself out of the situation of Nigeria right now. Just try and I know it's maybe difficult to get yourself out of the situation of Nigeria right now. But please, can you, for this moment, for the time that we're in, imagine that you have everything you want. Imagine, even if it was Volkswagen Beetle you brought today, imagine what you brought is an helicopter that will take you home. Just imagine that everything you need is available right now outside. But here right now, there is no limit for you. Is it possible? Can we do that? So that is the only ground rules I have. That open your mind in such a way that anything is possible. I can do anything. I have enough money in bank. I mean, as in, even if your account is red right now, just imagine you have every money you need in bank right now. So I see people's mind just going awire with that. But it's okay. You don't need to pay for thinking, So let's have that as ground rules. So with that in mind, I want you to speak like you are. I want you to be passionate when you are talking. Talk about who you are. Talk about the question. Talk about the reason. And be convince us why you resigned your job. Okay, who is the first person going? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Olumide Emeralds. Yeah, I resigned primarily because I was dissatisfied with the job I was doing at that time. Ironically, it's something I would have loved to do, but I wouldn't know if it was primarily the job or the environment. But I'm tempted to say more, as I reflected back then, that it was more of the job. Yeah.
The job. What exactly in the job?
Historical research.
Okay. So what part of the job really discouraged you?
So I had gone to the university to do History and International Studies during my undergrad days. Prior to that period, my interest was, more calculation-related courses, and the closest I was seeing was economics and statistics, or anything within stock brokerage. Over time, I couldn't get into doing economics and statistics, and was eventually offered to do History and International Studies. I think that's a story that's relatable with many persons in maybe my age bracket. Having done that, I saw myself, again, I was recommended to that particular job role from my professor, right, from the university. And upon getting there, 2 years down the line, I felt dissatisfied. I wanted to go back to something that makes me a bit more, something that is a bit more critical, think a lot more, and possibly do some calculations as well. And all of that wasn't panning out. So I got tired, irritated. I loved research, but not historical research. And so I left.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, next person. There's someone behind you.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
I'm Larry Adeleke. So I left the place because I wanted more. More. I wanted more. I wanted a place with structure, because for my, let's say, future plans, I needed like a place that will position me in a certain way with structure. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
With structure. That, but where I was before, it was more like a one-man business. So I needed like a structure for it. So that
Okay.
was why I
So
left.
you left a place and you moved into a new place.
Yes.
Did you leave the place you were into a new place? Not at all. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. She has a question. Okay. We'll give her, then we'll give him. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Ada. So I resigned for a lot of reasons. One, it was a toxic space. And
Toxic?
Yes, it was toxic. Work environment was not conducive for me, and I couldn't thrive very well. And secondly, I do customer operations, and if you understand customer operations, it's like a robotic job for most sex people. And I wanted something different for my career path, and that job role was not giving me the opportunity to do other things.
Okay.
So I left.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Then let's have the last person.
Olumide Adamson here. So I'd quitted before I eventually quit. That was 2 years before the time I did quit. So why? Because there was a change in leadership and they lost focus. So there was no alignment between my personal goals and that of the organization. So I knew it was time for me to leave. So when there was, a misalignment, I decided to say, okay, fine, it's time to actually take off, because it became an extremely toxic environment. So instead of me doing the murmuring and grumbling and doing things in the corridor that I shouldn't do, I decided to excuse myself.
Okay. Did you move into a new job immediately?
Definitely.
Okay. So, sorry, sir. Are you working right now?
Yes, I am.
How long did it take you from the time you quit till getting another place?
About 9 months.
9 months.
Yeah.
In the 9 months, you're married.
Yes.
Okay. In the 9 months, you had plans on what it will be.
Not clearly. When I was quitting that particular job, I didn't have any clear plans. I just wanted to get out.
In the 9 months, you were sure that you could take care of everything, even if work is not there.
Fairly.
Thank you. I just wanted to be clear with that. Thank you. Why do people quit? I have this study. Can you help me with that? Okay? Why people quit their job? This is a recent study, and it's a study between April 2021 and 2022. And the first among all is lack of career development and advancement. 41% of the people said the reason they are quitting their job is because there is lack of career development, there is career and lack of career advancement. Now, one of the things I find terribly wrong with us as people, as people looking for job, as employees and human being, really, generally, is that we give the organization the power to regulate our career advancement. Most of the time, we give the organization the power to be the one to do our development. And that's why most of the time, people will quit because there is problem with what I am doing. You have the sole responsibility for career development. You are the one to tell where you are going. Or else, have you heard this before, that if you don't know where you're going, anywhere you get to becomes your destination? How many of us has played the bull eye before? That target, when you shoot to target, the bull eye. You've played bull eye before. Yeah. Do you know that when you if you decide to close your eyes and shoot at that blue eye, do you know you will get something? You will still hit something. But you did not have any target. So, if you don't have any target, anywhere you hit becomes your target. That's why when you get to an organization not sure of exactly what you want in that organization, you got into that organization because, I need to make ends meet. You will make ends meet, but unfortunately, they will put you in a mold. Every organization wants to put their employees in a mold. But they will only be successful if they know that you are obedient to the mold. Once they can see that you already have a plan of what you want to be, then you are the one in charge. And yes, I am telling you that as an employee, you can be in charge of what needs to be done and how things should be done in the organization. It doesn't matter what level you are in. Now, no organization wants to pay you for anything. If you want to work free for them, they will call you in. That's why when you ask for raise, they will tell you no, because everybody wants to good job, but does not want to pay. But you see, if you come with that to tell the organization, this is who you are, this is where you are going. Now, if they cannot take it, then they will not take you. But once they take you in, then it tells you that you are become the one in charge. And it is possible to be in charge of what you want to do. I finished from University of Lagos with biology education. Yeah. How many of us did education here? Okay. Was that what you wanted to do? Okay. Nobody wanted to do education, and we just find ourselves there, Abby. I remember then that you just sit with the medical students. You know, we have core course, we have similar course at the first year. So when it's time to do physics, biology, and all that, you zoology, botany, you sit down with them. And when they are asking that education, raise up your hand, you will not raise up your hand until when they are distributing scripts and education, raise up your hand, you will not raise up your hand until the person comes to you and just collect your own. You just don't want to. That was the same situation I found myself. But, you know, I discovered that at the end, I tried changing course. It didn't work. Okay? It looks like some people tried doing the same thing too. Okay? So, you see, our stories are not different. We're the same. But the difference is how that it is possible to still pick what looks impossible, pick what looks like it cannot be done, pick what looks like is a rubbish course that I have done, and still make something out of it. Let me tell you how I made something out of my biology education. So now I don't tell people I do biology education. I told them I tell people I did education. How did I get into HR from education? So I met this woman on the pages of newspaper. That was when they used to write profile of a training facilitator. And I think it was MTN that used to do that a lot then, so some other companies. They will write the profile of a training facilitator so that it will stimulate your interest in applying for the training. So I've heard about this woman before. So I read the story. I read the profile. And that profile looks like what I want to be. It looks like I just put myself in that profile, that this is what I've been looking forward to being like. So I decided that I want to look for this woman, that I want to look for her to be my mentor. So I attended the training. I paid for the training myself and went to her. And after a time, after she finished her first session, I went to meet her at the break, and I took tea with her, and I told her that I want her to mentor me. And she looked at me and said, "Well, that Catch Me If You Can." How many of us have watched that movie? Okay? So I had to start running after her. So I discovered that I like to train. I like to teach. I like to talk, to just get people into what they want to do. But one day I got into this job. The man I told you that I went to tell him that I want a job, I want to work, I need a job. So he asked me, the job they gave me was sales. But the kind of talk that I want to talk is not to sell. Because for 3 years, is it two? I think between 2 and 3 years, I didn't sell nothing in the company. I didn't sell anything. Because the things we're selling was abstract. And they were sold for millions. So how do you sell abstracts? Except you understand the value. So I didn't sell anything. Finally, I sold one thing. And the reason I sold that thing was because the person that bought it was a friend to the MD. And the MD has given her 50% discount. So till today, I reckon myself that I was the one that sold that company. But I couldn't sell. So I was going to be sacked one day. So, so someone else, they will have meeting at the end of every year and will so it's like the management will have meeting and they will look at who are the people to be evicted. And every year I keep going off. They won't evict me. Somebody else will say, "Don't worry, bring Jide into my team. I think Jide can work with me." And they said next year again, they will know that they will discover that I did not do anything again. So they will move me. They moved me like 3 times. So the 4th time, I went to meet the MD myself before that meeting. Okay. Give me the last chance. But allow me to choose where I want to be. That was how I took charge of my career development. So I told him, I want to be in a particular team. And he was like, "No, you cannot be there because you don't have the skills." I said, "Don't worry, give me 6 months." And he said, "No, I won't give you 6 months. I will give you 3 months. If in 3 months you did not get to where you want to get to, you are out of this place." So I said, "Deal." So the job was to begin to implement human resource softwares. I did not have a skill to do that. But I thought to myself that if I finish school, then it means I can do this thing. So I got a book, 21 Days SQL. Anyone know about 21 Days SQL? Good. I picked 21 Days SQL, and I was not going home when every other person leaves office. I would stay back in the office from 5 o'clock, and I would do, for 21 days, I would do one chapter every day. So at the end of 21 days, I mastered it. Before 3 months, I surpassed all the expectations. And then, that was the beginning of my rising. And that was the beginning of my career advancement. So, at that point, I now saw that, okay, I don't just like to implement, but I like to teach people how to use the system. So I told him again, move me to trainings. If anybody knows system specs here, if you go to system specs, ask about Jide George, one Jide George like that. I'd left system specs now for 15 years. But if you asked about Jide George, they would tell you who Jide George is. Because client, even after I've left, client will still want me to do certain things for them. I was training. I had my training room like a judge has his courtroom. So my training room is like when I get in there, I'm the one in charge here. And I trained and I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it so much. So I now had some skills in IT. I had some skills in HR. I had some skills in project management. So it got to a point I needed to choose, really. What do I want to do? So I loved training. So I went back to this woman that I met. And I told her, and she said, you should come to HR. That there is training in HR. That was what I got to know, that, okay, there is training in HR. So I got into doing an HR course. I just went to do a 9-month course in University of Lagos again. Advanced Diploma in Human Resource Management. Finished the course, and then I entered proper into HR. But I discovered that I didn't like HR operations. But I know I like systems. So I looked at it that, okay, my passion is turning the human resource policies, procedures into the systems. So when I searched, I discovered that there is something they call HRIS, Human Resource Information System. That was the beginning of my rising again. But the first thing is I had to pick what is it that I want to do. If you don't know exactly what you want to do, one of the things we want to do at this meeting also, going forward, of course, this is a stimulating meeting. It's to help people discover what they want to do and from where you are. The important thing for us to understand is that the life. Can you move to the fifth slide, please? The fifth one. Just go to the fifth one, please. Nope. Is that the fifth one? So move down, sorry. Next one. Okay, here. Okay, there's a lifetime of work that we are in. That every point in time that you keep going around, you keep evolving and you keep changing exactly what you. Now, I don't want it to be a boring slides for you. I don't want you will get the slide. I'll ask that the church just put the slide in PDF and send it to everyone. So don't worry. Just don't let it be a boring one. It's supposed to be a lifetime of work, meaning you don't have to stay in a job till forever. I mean, this generation does not even want to do that. He just told us that, how long were you in the job? 3 years. That's even a long time. They don't want to stay more than 1 year and they are already tired and they are moving. We are no more in a generation of people that want to stay in a job from the entry level until retirement. No. So what do we do now? And you see, I wish that it would not just be via the age, these generations, the Z generation, but that it will also impact us. Those of us that looks like we're baby boomers. It will impact us because, I don't know, you don't want to stay in a place and just be marking time. Like, I must just keep going until No. You are not fulfilling purpose. And all you are doing is just going round. Now, what I've told myself is this, that my job these days will be that I am going into an organization for a purpose. Once I'm done, I move. Once you're done, but you need to be able to tell when you are done. And you cannot tell when you are done except you have a plan from the beginning. So I'm saying that you need to have a plan from the beginning. As a person, why am I going into this job? What do I want to achieve? That job is not supposed to be forever. What do I want to achieve? What's the signal for me? When would I get to a point to know that I have achieved it? When does it become a cycle, like she said? It became monotonous to her. And at that point, no more joy. There is no more joy in the job. And so you don't want to keep doing a job just for the money, because really you will get tired. In the morning, the alarm will ring and you won't want to stand up. But how many of us, before the alarm rings, you are even standing up yourself to do some job? Yeah, that's because you love what you're doing. And you see, and honestly, we need to get to that state that we love the things we are doing. Because you see, it's the things that we love to do, that's the thing that pays us better. Because at that point, you are the one that drives it. But the job drives you when when it's because of money you are in there. The day they are saying they are going to distribute envelope, you are praying. But when they say they are going to distribute envelope, you are just like, let them do it. Because if they lose me at this time, it's their loss. So reflect on your strength. What are your strengths? What do you love to do? I met a lady yesterday. I had this same session yesterday for another group of people. So I met a lady. I traveled from Ibadan into Lagos yesterday, and I came on a train. How many of us have gone on that train before? It's beautiful. Try it. I mean, it's very beautiful. I didn't believe Nigeria can get into that, but we're growing. But it really very quiet and very easy moving, and before you know it, we're in Lagos, and it was good. So let's try that. Now, I met this lady. Is that for me? I met this lady, and we were talking about she didn't want to greet me, of course. She just came to sit beside me, and I'm like, we're going to be here for 2 hours. You're not going to talk to me. You have to find a way to talk to me. I will talk to you. I will disturb you. So I was going through my slides, and I know that she was looking at my slide. So it was then I caught her. Hey, you're looking at my slide, and you have interest in what I'm doing. So I called her, how are you? I introduced myself, and we started talking. And we got to the point where she told me what she was doing. And I like to ask people what they are doing. And because I like to know if you are really doing what you are supposed to be doing, you are at the level where you're supposed to be. Is there something better that you can do? Can you get more things done at faster rate and all that? So I like to do that. So I engaged her like that. And by the time we finished, she has become a blogger. She already just discovered that she has been wasting her data just doing Facebook. That she likes to show her friends, and her friends have been asking that she show them different places that she goes to. So she just discovered that, we're traveling right now. We're on a train. And it's stopping, it's getting to different stations. She can take photos of people. She can ask people on the train, how do you feel? And she can post it. And she's beginning to make money apart from the fact that she's a fashion designer. And that does not stop her job. So for me, it's an opportunity to grow. Now she has been able to reflect on her strength and her interest. And then, the same data she used in browsing Facebook and all that, she can use the same data to post all these things, and that will eventually begin to yield money for her. So, what am I saying? Begin to reflect on what your interests are and what your strengths are. Also begin to explore what are the career opportunities, what are the education you have. Now, I mentioned that you need to take charge. You need to take charge of your own career. The way to take charge of your own career is what is it that I want to do? How do I get there? What kind of trainings do I need to do? Should I wait for the organization to train me? They will not. Because don't forget, they want to put you in their mold. The trainings you want to do, what you want to do does not fit into what they want. So they cannot send you on training for personal reasons. What comes in there then is your own personal development plan. So you need to begin to do, what is my development plan? So development plan, the way it is done is, in the next 6 months, between now and the end of the years, what do I want to do? Where do I want to be? What will get me to the place? So you do a skills gap analysis. Where I am right now, what skill do I have? And by December, what kind of skill do I need for me to get to where I want to be? So what is the difference between the skill that I have and the skills that I'm looking for? That's what skills gap analysis is about. So I'm able to get the gap. And then once you're able to get the gap, you can now look at what kind of trainings, experiences, volunteering services, doing free jobs. How can I do that to close that gap? Because most of the way to close the gap is not only by going to pay for trainings. In fact, one of the things that COVID did, that 2 years of COVID, some of us didn't make use of it very well. There were a lot of free trainings. How many of us took advantage of that? Wow, yes. There were a lot of free trainings. Up to Harvard. Harvard was giving free training. Microsoft opened up their LMS, their learning system. What you should have paid for, they opened it up. Most organizations just opened it up. So, and there are still some field training too, right now. There are still free training on Coursera's. You don't need to pay. Some of these things you don't need to pay for. Some of them is, okay, right now I don't have a job. Meet organization and tell them, I want to come and serve you for free. What you are doing is volunteering. It's not so much a thing in this place, really. From where I come from, it's a major thing. When you volunteer and you are looking for a job after that, oh God, you will be like the bride of everybody. Because they would have seen in your resume that you did a free job. You gave your time, your talent. You paid for your transport. Come on, we'll give you a job. That's what used to happen. That's what happens there. So, but it is possible here too. Tell them, you know what? I'm going to work for you for 3 months. Don't pay me. In the meeting I went yesterday, there was another lady that spoke at the meeting. And she said she left US and there was something she wanted to do in Nigeria. And that she met the MD of the company and told the MD, this is my resume. This is what I do. But I'm going to work for you for 3 months. I'll work for you for 3 months. Don't worry, don't pay me. I just want to serve you. At the end of the 2nd month, the man came to meet her and said, I cannot stand like this with all the value you are adding and still not pay you anything. So please allow me to pay. Today, she's the MD of that company. The owner just said, you know what? It looks like from the way I'm looking at things, you have too much to ignore. Manage the company. She's the one managing the company today. So I'm saying, even in the midst of this chaos you are seeing in Nigeria, there are still some things. I'm sure if you are a Christian, you've read that God still has 7,000 prophets. So at every point, every time of the year, there's still some people that have not bowed their head to the Baal and they have not kissed him. So God, there are people somewhere that are still doing well. What I'm saying is that you can ignore everything that is going on. Ignore the situations and just decide to live as if you are the only one living. Live the way you want to live. Yes, you will get into traffic, but when you get into the traffic, you are not cursing like every other person is cursing because you know where you are going. Do we understand what I'm saying? I'm asking for a change of mindset. Oh, it is Nigeria. You don't know. You must know somebody. You don't have to know. If you have to know somebody, the person will come your way. And honestly, I'm not trying to psych you. I'm just telling you, these are things that have happened to me. And these are things I've seen happen to people. I have had to mentor a number of people. I was expecting that she will come. She was the one that prepared this slide for me. She's been working with me now for like 4 or 5 years. That I saw her at the meeting as an HR meeting, and I saw that she was just talking just like someone that is not, thank God she's not here, like a bush person, just talking like this person seems to have a lot of energy, but need to be well channeled. She said, okay, she will come in very soon, but please don't tell her that I said that. So, but today, she's doing so well. She did this presentation. All I need to do is just tell her that this is my thought pattern. Do something for me. She will send it to me. I will look at it, review it, send it back, and she will do it. She's so good now. And I'm saying that it can be you. Don't worry, whatever it is has happened to you in the past, you can start now. This meeting is not a motivation speaking. No. It is to tell you that these things happen. Yes, there are obstacles, but obstacles are not meant to stop you, really. You're just meant to know how else can has somebody done it before? Yesterday, I was asking question, and I heard some people say that in their organization does not permit them to actively searching on LinkedIn. Do we have anyone here? That if you put, there's a button on LinkedIn on your profile that you can activate that you are actively searching. I have there organizations in this country that will sack you because you are saying to the job community that you are actively searching. That is hogwash. That is rubbish. It shouldn't be. So when such things begins to happen, what you do is get into communities outside LinkedIn. Join the community on WhatsApp. Join the yes, because you cannot allow yourself to be trapped. You can't allow yourself to be trapped. Look at the different things. Please, you can just move down to almost the last. Just keep going. I don't want to. You will get okay. Leave it here. No. Go back. So you probably was having this feeling that the global skills and sustainability that we're going to talk about here, you're going to hear that what you should go and be doing now is business analyst. You should go and do Scrum Master. Okay, there are people that felt that's going to happen. No. Let me tell you something. That's not what you need. What you need is exactly what you have. What is it is just that you need to be able to deploy the same thing you have globally rather than locally. Right now, what you're doing is you are deploying it here. The situation and circumstances of Nigeria has made you feel that the only way it works is the way Nigeria works. It is not true. Instance, I have a lady in Halifax, Nova Scotia, that read Igbo language. And what she has is she has a center for children. And she teaches them Igbo. And a center is being funded by the government of Canada. I have another person that decides that he wants to teach the Nigerian culture and gather children and is getting funded by the government. Why? Because the government of Canada just want a situation where they don't want you to come to Canada and blend in the Canadian culture. No. They want your culture to be sustained because for them, what they are trying to build is a multicultural country. So, for every culture, before I left, the Indian, I think 2 weeks ago, Indian did their color festival. You know that their color where they will have different color and they will be throwing they had their color festival on the street and you will think that we're in India. Nigeria did their 1st of October, started the Nigerian week yesterday. And go to the street of Halifax, you will see them there in green, white, green. You will think you are in Nigeria with the good road. But you see, I'm saying this for you to know that what you have is enough to walk where you are going. Okay, let me use myself. Now, lastly, the reason I got the job, apart from the fact that I am passionate about what I do, was that they noticed that I had, apart from the fact that I had done implementations of systems, that I also have a background in HR. I didn't go to university outside Nigeria. Everything I had done so far, they were here. Everything I have done so far, they were here. And so when I was talking, I was telling them how that I used to work with, before I left, I used to work with a company called West African Gas Pipeline. West African Gas Pipeline is in Badagry. My office is in Badagry. So I told them at the interview how that I used to go from home, from Yaba to Badagry. How that I would get to Badagry, and how that I would do a union negotiation meeting. And how that in union negotiation meeting, I make sure I negotiate from the point of strength. And the point of strength is that I know exactly what the law says, what the policy says. So if you are telling me based on your feelings, it does not work. So by the time I'm negotiating, they are the one to come and beg me to say, Jide, please, just help us. Help us tell management. And then I also know how to talk to management to say, the people are really suffering. We need to help them. And so with that, they feel that this guy has some crazy experience. So I'm saying you have more than enough already. More than enough. If you have opportunity to relocate, the first thing you should do is not to go to another school or go and do another course. No. The first thing actually is to start from where you stop here. Because it's better to start from what you already know than for you to begin to now, okay, this the next thing that is happening now, everybody doing Scrum. So just go and do 6 weeks Scrum Master again. Everyone is doing BA. Okay, let's quickly just go. No. The first thing, just sit down and start from where you are. Because where you are, there is a lot that you can achieve with where you are. So I'm saying this is what is needed in global skill and for you to sustain your career. And I'm not talking about sustaining global. I'm talking about global skill. I'm not talking about using your skill just here. I'm saying the same skill you have here, which you have localized, you can take the same skill and use it everywhere else. First thing when you get to any country, the first thing they want to know, if you've heard about people say that you're not getting job in Canada because you don't have Canada experience. Now, there is no Canada experience. What they are looking for, actually, they want to know that you can communicate. Do you know those people, they don't believe that we are taught in English? Honestly. They don't believe we're taught in English, even though we have to do IEL to go to their country. They can't pass the IEL. They can't pass it. And yet, with the fact that we pass it, they still tell us that we can't speak English. And they will tell us we have accent. So I will tell them you have accent too. Because there is no standard accent. There is no standard. You only speaking based on where you live. So, the only reason, what they are just trying to find out is, my colleague was joking with me that, you're going to Nigeria, that I heard that everybody lives on trees in Nigeria. I said, yes, we live on trees. In fact, our president is a monkey. Because I'm like, these people just feel like there's nothing about us. So, what I'm saying is that you have everything already. It's just to deploy it in the right place. Now, to be able to deploy it in the right place, I'm saying you need to be creative with what you have. I met a guy yesterday, he said he's an artist, but that he wants to transition into digital artist. And he's saying, what is it? NFTs. Now, he's saying that he doesn't know who has done it before, that he doesn't know how to go about it. And I'm saying, yeah, that is good. That's digitalization of your work. And that is where everybody is going. If you cannot digitalize your work, there is trouble. So I told him that it's not possible that you are the first person to think about this. Thank God this guy just told me about it now. So I told him, rather than playing on Facebook and scrolling on Instagram, go and check the people on LinkedIn that are doing the same thing you want to do. And that's where the mentoring comes in. If they are in Kutuwenji, find a way to reach out to them. You know what you are looking for is their time. Once you are able to hold them, you know what mentors do for mentees. Okay, I'll be rounding up now. They will take you to a place where they have been to. When it is time for you to cross a bridge, they will tell you that there is a bridge there. So you will know. But because they did not know there was a bridge there, they fell. But for you, you will not fall. That is the work of a mentor. So that you get to where you are going earlier than they got there. So if a mentor got to a place in 10 years, it can only take you 1 year if you had a good mentor and if you're a good mentee. So we're saying you have to be creative in what you do. You have to have you have to be able to think on your feet. You have to. The guy asked me, remember the question I told you? The guy asked me, he said I was an average person. And for me to convince him that I'm not an average person, I had to tell him what I have done. He asked me, so tell me the best thing that happened for you in your life. Quickly, you have to think about something. I wish I can quickly ask a question like that right now. What's the best thing that you have done in your life? That is calling your life to question. And that one, where would you find it in a book? In which textbook would you find it? If you have not done it, you have not done it. If you have not experienced it, you have not. But you see, you can do a critical thinking right there and say, this is what has happened to me. I used to be here and I did this. I faced this. I overcame this and I got here. That is your story. And with that, people just want to know that when you have issues, you can resolve. When you have conflict, you can resolve. That's what people just want to know. So please, stop walking like this. Walk straight. Even if you have not eaten. Like I have not eaten today yet. Walk straight. Square your shoulder. You don't have a spoke. You don't have a bicycle spoke. Walk like you had a Benz park outside for you. Because people want to actually understand that, you want to know that you have the confidence to stand at any point in time. Okay. Communication, you need to be able to. Pastor Shegun just spoke about leadership. Collaboration is so important for you. It's important for you to work with other people. We know collaboration tools. Anyone knows collaboration tools? Any collaboration tools? Slack, Teams, Skype, Google Mates. Use all these things, even if it is not for job yet. Connect with your friends with it. You know what you are doing. You will get to an interview and they will ask you about collaboration tools. How have you used it? What have you used it for? You'll be able to tell them. You don't have to tell them it's just with your friend you are using it. You are using it with your colleagues. You are not lying. What you are doing is Abba. He needs something. He sent me a message on Slack. I'm able to quickly say, oh, okay, this is how to go about it. We are communicating, we are collaborating. So it means you know how to use collaboration tools, because those kind of questions comes out these days. And you just be wondering, what is collaboration tools? But some of us have them as apps on our phone. We are not even using them. The best we do is just filter pictures and just post on Instagram, and it is more than that. It's more than that. Okay? Adaptability, I've talked about how is it that you get into a place and begin to study what is it. It's possible there are people here that have already started an application, immigration application, and you will not see anything until when you get to the airport of where you are going and they call you, you are supposed to be ushering today. Sorry, I am now in Amsterdam airport. It's possible someone is planning that right now. You're not even saying anything, especially Nigerians. We don't even just talk. But understand that you can begin to research the place you are going right here now. Now, research where you are going. What do they do there? What kind of job do they do there? How do I adapt to this? Who are the people? Who are they? What kind of people are they? How are they friendly and all that? How do I relate with them? Be adaptable to the place. And I've talked about the last one, your digital literacy. It's so very important. And I'm going to stop there now. So, what is it that you have asked questions? Anyone with questions? And anything. Don't forget we said we can just say anything. Let's just talk. Let's try and use this time as interactive as possible. Okay, any question? We have the ladies holding microphone there if you have any question. There's someone's hands up.
Thank you very much for shedding light and some guidance here. I was reflecting on the slide, that had the growth.
Okay, can we go to the live growth slide?
Stagnant. And my thinking was, where am I at this point? And I see myself struggling between two places, the maintenance level and growth level. Now, here is my challenge. And maybe,
let's go on, please.
And maybe a question to help with guidance.
No, you have to go to the beginning. It's the beginning.
So, what I currently do, I enjoy it, awesome, and I think I am productive where I am, right? But again, I want to explore the growth possibilities, and that primarily in two fields, two broad fields, I think. As much as possible, also grow within my current work. So my current work sits within monitoring and evaluation, a bit more into impact measurements in recent years. If I were to continue on that path, I want to go further in climate change, agriculture, market systems in terms of impact measurements. And so I would want growth within that path. Secondly, I have strong interest in IT-based skills with a bit of previous knowledge and experiences in data science, as well as some degree of data science, basically. But I am strongly interested in cloud computing and IT security. So there is that struggle for me. Moving away from program impact evaluation with an interest in market systems evaluation, climate change and agriculture evaluation, which is a growth path I am seeking, to cloud computing or IT security has been some strong challenge for me. I'm wondering if you could shed light in terms of guidance on how to proceed. It's more like I am stuck right now.
Okay, thank you. So if we have to start that, it's going to be till forever that we'll not leave this place. So what you have talked about is very technical. What you have talked about, it's very, very specific, actually. And so the only thing I will say about that is we need to find a way to merge what you currently have as your skill. And it's very rare. How many of us does the same thing that he's just talked about? You see that? You are the only one here. You see? Now, so it's what you are doing and what you have right now is very rare. AWS that you talked about, the cloud computing, is the digitalization now. The data science you talked about is the now thing. Now, so you want to know how that merges. We can talk about that one-on-one. And one of the things that Pastor Shegun and I have talked about is also a mentoring team, a mentoring program that we are planning to organize for the people here. And I'm not sure. I understand there are some people that signify for the program. We're not charging anything for it. It's just to ensure that people find a way to where they are going. So in case you did not sign up for it and you have been convinced, please sign up for it. We just want to help, really. We just want to see how much of it, to let you know that it is possible either here or anywhere in the world, wherever you want to work, it's possible. So yes, we can pick that up. Thank you. All right, any other question? All right, there's a question here.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Lillian. So I work in the aviation space currently.
With what?
Aviation space.
Okay.
So I've been doing quite a lot of things for a while now. For the past 5 years, I've been in different spaces. I've worked in the e-commerce space. I've worked in creative space, blogger. I've also worked as an educator. I've been everywhere. So currently now I work...
With the same organization?
No, different places.
Your own?
Yes, on my own. I've been exploring, exploiting, whatever. So I work in the aviation space currently. And the issue now is that I have a personal issue where it's kind of hard for me to probably retain interest in whatever I'm doing, like what I'm doing. When I was working in the e-commerce space, I worked there for about 3 months. I got tired of the uncreativity of the person I was working under. Like, it wasn't innovative enough, and it kind of frustrated me because I'm a person that I love innovative people that think, people that, they're always on the go, always creating new stuff. So that's the issue I have, because it's kind of hard to be in a space where you're not allowed to try new things. Oh, yeah. So currently, bringing it now to the point where I am, my issue is when I get into a space, I tend to lose interest really fast. I lose interest. Like, it's just, as I'm getting in there, I'm also thinking of, like, how can I get out of here? So that's the issue I have. Okay. I don't know if there is a problem with me or...
Honestly, there is none. Were you here when this guy was talking? Yeah? He had the same problem. All of you had the same problem. I mean, that your generation is just a problem, people. The companies are researching on how to keep your interest. And honestly, companies are doing everything to keep you because they know you are easily bored. You don't like the same thing every day. What is all this one? I'm going. Can you imagine? As she's coming into the organization, she's thinking of going out. There's nothing wrong with you. What I need you to think about is, what are you doing in the aviation space? Why are you there? If you can't find a reason to be there, can you get out? There are better places where you can deploy. Okay, is this a time for questioning? Is it possible to change this? because it's distracting me now. Like we should stop. I've finished my own. Is a questioning now. Okay, so need you to, that 5 years you have spent, what have you learned? What is it that they are doing? What is it? Can you still contribute anything? If you can't contribute anything again, can you begin to think of being actively searching? Or what you are doing, all other things you are doing, the blogging, the other things you are doing, is it sustainable? Can you build good business around them to the extent that it sustains you and that you don't need to start giving yourself stress about this aviation space? If the only reason you are there is because your dad just knows someone and got you into the place. You understand what I'm saying? And you see, you need to do that fast because never say you are too young and that I will just patch here. There is no other place to go. There are a lot of places to go. There are a lot of, as much as we're saying that there are no jobs, there are still people that are getting good jobs. And it's not because their father knows the person that knows it. No. They are still getting it. So I'm saying, don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. You have a whole life in front of you. Replan yourself. We can work together too in mentoring sessions and like, what is it exactly that I want to do? What do I have in front of me? What skills do I have? How can I make use of these skills to get better at what I'm doing? So don't let that place you are, and you've been for 5 years. What I would have said you should do is see how you can, at least you are innovative. Your guy is not innovative. Find a way that you can use your innovation and present it. And I think one of the things that is wrong with this generation is also that we don't know how to do our own thing, give it to our boss, and let our boss present it as if he's his own. Because in that, because right now, you don't want to shine. Oh God. Okay. Now you see, you don't want to shine. That's not what you want. What you want right now is that let it be that your idea is what is used. But you cannot present that idea to the general public. But you know your boss can present it. Can you find a way to sell that idea to your boss? And let the boss present it as his own idea. Let him take the glory. It's okay. But one thing that would have done for you is that innovation will be working. And then your guy will be looking for you. That, okay, do you have more things? Because that will make your Oga looks good in front of his own bosses. But you know, it's your work. But it's just for a time. A time is coming. Somebody will know that the idea is not coming from him. It's from you. Don't forget what I started with. It is your story. Nobody can tell it like you do. Nobody. That's why when you begin to give out such innovations, let him, if you can, and we can teach you some of the ways to get into his space, get into his mind, and be pushing your innovation into him. And he will see that it is good. But you see, because of his ego, he cannot allow you to present it. You want to take his job? He can't allow you to take his job now. So, push it to him. Okay, it's your own. Present it. Oga will present it. And he will, in the meeting while he's presenting, he's bringing you in because he cannot answer questions. He will bring you in. And when what's your name, sorry? Lillian. When they're asking questions, say yes. And we've talked about that. Lillian, can you tell them what we talked about? And you will talk about it like it's his own. But what you are doing is also making yourself feel good and making you are happy that yes. And right at that point, you know what you're doing? You are becoming in charge. A time will come, a guy will say, sorry, you can't go on leave. Oh. If you go on leave, this will not go on. So that's what I think. It's one thing I think you need to, it's a skill actually. And we need to learn it. We need to learn it that don't outshine. There is a rule book. Power. Have anybody read that power book? Never outshine the boss. You cannot anywhere. Never outshine the boss. One rule you need to keep. Okay, any question? Any other question? So we can talk more if you are in mentorship. Lillian, if you are up for the mentorship program, we can talk more about that. Okay.
So, sir, I'm trying to coin this question so that I don't make it seem like the questions you just finished, because I'm not Gen Z, I'm Gen Y.
Okay.
To be specific.
All right, you see now people have started, they don't put me among them. Okay.
So I have not a problem, because I have good clarity on what exactly I want for my career, right? So I started pretty much from sales like you did, and then from there transition to learning and development like you did. Now I'm in talent management, but before I stepped into talent management, I also took up a course in ICANN. Now when I tell people about things I'm doing, they are looking at me like, do you have a plan for your life? So this is me trying to seek some form of encouragement from you if I'm not out of place. So I have 12 years left for my career. I want to retire when I'm 50, right? So between now and then, I want to work in finance and then retire much in IT, right? So I have all these things planned out. But then when I share things with people, they're like, it looks like you're not focused. So I just want to, relate.
Okay, good. Now, it's important that we have a good mix of skills. So my mix of skills was project management, IT, HR. And I noticed that those three skills, skills mix was so good for me, because if I enter into a project, I may not be a technical person on that project, but I will manage the human resource on the project. I will be able to tell you the manning levels for the different parts of the project. So I know project needs me. HR needs me because there is no organization that can do without HR. I know the part of the IT that I'm doing. It may not be very functional here, and I think it is functional here right now in Nigeria. The human resource information systems, I play in that also. What you are doing, LMS, we are in the space of the LMS, the learning management systems. Now you are into accounting. What do you want to do with that accounting, with LMS?
So LMS basically is for functional, what's it called, learning functions for the organization.
Yes.
But the finance aspect is this. I'm targeting the top, right? And at the top, you would find out that most of the skills that are important is have sales fundamentals, and you must know your numbers, right? So I just figured out if I have this mix of skills, at the end of the day, within that 12 years, I should be able to pinnacle.
I'm good. You are not crazy. No. And I'm very serious about that. So what you are trying to do is now organization does from the beginning, you know about the management trainees. When organization brings in management trainees, what they do is they put them in a mold and they keep growing them. How many of us have heard about Bumioni, former MD of Cadbury? Bumioni used to be a very powerful name in this country until there was a problem some times ago in Cadbury that he had to go. Bumioni came from the list of a team of management trainees that the organization would train from the beginning, and they will keep growing them, send them to different departments because they want them to learn everything about the company. But you see, as they are going into different departments, they will begin to thin. Some will begin to drop out. Some will resign. Some will remain but be head of department. The other will keep going and become GM, and others will keep going until only one of them becomes the managing director. So, if you're going to be managing director of a company, or your plan is to do your own thing, then you want to not just do your 8 to 5 and focus only on what you are given. No. And we do that a lot. You only, this is like, do you pay me to do that? No. You cannot do that. If you are someone that is going up there, you got to learn this, learn that. Why? Because when you get there, you are looking down to every other person now. And they cannot lie to you and tell you, something is wrong with the LMS. No, the accounting system is bad. No. You are able to sit down there, we have done that before. We know what it's about. So, and I'm saying this to let you know that don't stop where you are. It is very good skills, sets that you have. Continue with it. But one thing I want to say to everyone is, whatever it is that you want to do or you are doing, you cannot be the only one that is doing it. Somebody has gone through that path and succeeded before. So, look for that person. Look for what that person like. That person like to eat apple. Apple is expensive now, but you are buying it not because of the money. You are buying it because you want a favor from someone. Just seek the person. And you can search different people. These days, the world is very fluid. You can search different people on LinkedIn. One of the things we want to do with this mentorship program is I won't be the only one. I have a number of people at different places that I can say, okay, I can link you up with that. Hey, but then you will report it back and say, this is what we are doing. So that it's not just like, and if you're not serious about it, we don't want to go ahead with it, really. We don't want to go ahead with you if you're not serious about it. If you're saying go and do this and you are saying you have a party to go, that there is if that's the problem, just go to the party. But we want to be intentional about our lives. We want to be intentional about what we want to do. So if we set a 1-year target and we say at the end of 1 year we want to review what has happened in 1 year. If nothing has happened, then let's close the program. But I think it's possible. So I think it's a good skill mix. Don't listen to people. Go on with what you are doing. Go on. All right. Someone has a question there.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Caleb. I currently work as the program manager for an edutech company. So I have 2 questions, which is I find myself in a position where most often I'm being termed as pessimistic in my organization. In the sense, when there's an idea or there's something everybody wants to implement, I like to be that guy who sits back to look at the results and then the loopholes. So most times when I share certain things, they're like, oh, stop being pessimistic. This is going to work. But I always like to be the person who sits back and says, okay, this thing might go sideways. It might happen this way. So what do we do? If currently we're working on a project and everybody is excited, oh, it's going to work, it's going to work. And I'm sitting back to look at, we haven't designed a marketing plan for this. There's no target audience set for this. And currently, I'm still being termed that, oh, Caleb, you're being pessimistic. This thing is going to work. It's going to work. How do I manage that? Then secondly, I didn't have any passion for career before now, but currently, I am quite interested in it. I find myself in a position where I'm very interested in design, product design, system design, in the sense, as I work as a program manager, I design programs for organizations, for different individuals. Then secondly, I like to be in a position where I can manage affairs, manage certain things and administrate. So I've been having the issue of managing both. How do I go about that? Because I really love to design things, design programs, design softwares, not the technical aspect, but just the interface, how it's going to run and all of that. Design it, and then still be responsible for managing it. How do I?
Okay. So the first question, a pessimist. Now, it's good to have pessimists, but everybody don't like pessimists. Because what you are doing is shutting down their ideas. There is a way to represent your views as a pessimist, that they won't know that you're actually a pessimist. What you will be doing at that point is rather telling them the solution, presenting a solution to the problem that you have been able to identify. If you bring solutions to people, they rather will take it than taking the problems. Because everything has problems. Software development, there is no software that comes out 100% finished. If you want to wait for a software to come out 100% finished, you will never release that software. It's not like a song that you will sing and you will perfect it. No. Because this one is going to be used by different people. So, what's your name, sir? Joseph is going to use that software. What's your name? Ifeanyi. What's your name? Quincy. Quincy will use the same. Ifeanyi will use and Joseph will use the same. But you see, it's going to affect Joseph differently from him, from her. And so, Ifeanyi will send a message to the software developer and say that there is problem with your software. Joseph will not see problem with it because that particular part, he does not even need it. Quincy does not see any problem because he's using it and it's fine because of the process she runs. So, because of I should not release that software? No. I release it, then I begin to fix problems. Why do you think you pay for maintenance? It's for they know that there are going to be problems. They throw it out and they just begin to fix problems. iPhones brings out their patches. Is what they do is just put patches when you do your downloads, the download of the upgrades. When you do upgrades, what they are doing is just adding patches to fix the problem. They know actually that the problem has been there. iPhone 14 just came out. There are going to be problem with it. They know, but they will release it. But they will be telling you every month, update this. You see, that's part of software development to also highlight these are the issues that we'll be waiting for. So start working on it before we release. So they have worked on the first 10 and then they have released it. So a month after, they are making noise. No, this is not working. They just say, oh yeah, updates, do your update. When you do update, that noise will keep quiet. Others will start making noise, but somebody is also working on the next 10. That's the way it works. So, the same thing with you. Come from the point of providing solution rather than pointing out. There is holes. Everybody knows. For anything you do, you can't wait till the end. You can't wait to be perfect before you do it. First of all, tell them a solution to this. That I think is a very good software. In where I come from, when you ask any question, the first thing, if it's a stupid question, wow, that's a wonderful question. It's stupid though. That's a beautiful question. With that one, they have relaxed you. They will now begin to pick your brain. Don't you think it's this? Don't you think so? It now depends. Your approach is very important. If the first thing they hear is, it's not possible. Nobody wants to hear it's not possible. And there is nothing that is impossible. It's just that we don't know how to do it yet. So if you know how to do it, just propose it first. With that, you'll be able to release yourself. Imagine your skills. I'm glad that different people are talking about skill set here. And it is important for us to know that you can't afford to have just one thing and be doing. And a lot of us are wired with different things, actually. It's just that we're not sure of how to put everything together. You can't put everything together. Everything will work, and you'll be able to make money in different one of them at different times. I don't want to talk too much about multi-skills again here because it looks like we're overflogging. But yours too is specific. I'm hoping that you can join in the mentoring group. And I'm not trying to lure you into it because it's not like we're charging really for it. But that if we talk more, we reason more, talk about the things you do more, we'll be able to pick out the things that you can do and how you can merge the skills. Okay? All right, any other question?
Sir.
Okay.
My name is Timelaine. I'm a graphic designer and I'm learning printing and at the same time UI UX design.
Can you speak out, please?
I said I'm learning printing, I'm a graphic designer and I'm learning UI UX design. So I have a...
You're a graphic designer and you're...
UI UX designer.
Okay.
And I'm also processing printing.
Okay.
So let me remove the printing and focus on the graphic design and UI UX. Especially graphic design, I would say I find myself bored in a situation, like in a progress I've gotten to. So I want to get to know more about a particular thing again. For instance, I don't use some particular softwares, but it's what is used majorly. So I train myself to try to mimic what they do there and do it in the software I'm using. So what I'm saying now is I've left the basic department, like, okay, I already know the basics. I want to know what I don't know. Like, I don't know how it works. I don't know how they do it, but I just want to know it. For instance, I'm trying to move to work with an organization. I work as a freelancer. I just get a job, I do it. But out of late, I'm getting very bored about just doing the usual thing. I want to do more. I want to get involved in how our organization runs, use graphic designers, what they do, how they do it, and I just want to just know the protocol of organization. Okay, for now, I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to get to work with an insurance company. I don't know why I picked it, but I believe I can just do something in there. So I've been sending my mails to them. I keep sending mails, even if they don't reply. I keep sending mails. I look for.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do with them?
I don't know. I just want to just design something. I just want to just help them design.
Well, yeah, but you don't know what you want to design for them.
Yet.
Okay, but you don't know if they need anything at all.
You know, I know they need a graphic designer, definitely, because what they are doing is not attracting their customers.
Okay, so if they're not answering you, sending mail, look for someone inside.
Yes, I actually did that already.
Okay.
I tried to, the man in charge of the HR and the media is actually one person, so I tried to reach out to him through LinkedIn. It's locked. So, but I said, okay, maybe I'll go in person to the company and see.
Maybe one of the things you could also do, look at, you're not friend to the person, obviously, so one of the things you can also do is check that LinkedIn to see if there's someone that you know that knows the person. So it's a way of reaching out to people, find out if the person, you know, it's easy for you to know if somebody you are not friend with on LinkedIn, that is not your link, has someone that you know. So in that way, you can reach out to that person that you are trying to reach out to this person. Yeah. So you can do that. And then the first one, you talk about me skills also. You want to do things. For me, the major thing I think it's important for you. You know the basics already, but you want to go beyond the basics. So who has done that before? Do you know anyone that has done that before? Or you are the best in all you do?
Yeah,
World number one.
No, I know some people that have been there, but they're not giving me the answer to what I need.
Maybe you're not asking the right questions.
Okay.
So it's important. And what I'm trying to say really is that you can't reinvent wheels. It's better to check on people that have done it before. Get into their space. If you like, slave for them. All you are trying to do is just allowing them to accept you in the space. When I was working for a Chevron JV, I used to do a salary survey for our company. And so if you're going to do salary survey, you need to be able to benchmark with some other company that do similar things to what you do. And the companies that do similar things to what we do, they are the major companies, the big fives. They call them the big five. Now, the big five does not allow anyone to come into their space. So, how do I still get into their space? I found a way to do it. And I did it in such a way that it will not expose their data in any way. And, they're just, even scripture says that there is a way to enter a city. It's just that you don't know the road. But there are people that know the road. It means if there is a way to enter a city, it means somebody has gotten into that city before. So, yeah. So mentoring is Very important. So I think you look for someone. Huh? Look for. And if you can't get anyone, if you subscribe to the mentoring meeting, we will look for the person for you. We will look for someone for you. Yeah. Okay, stop someone there. Please.
Good afternoon. My name is Orolua. My question is, I just transitioned here, and the position I am in currently requires me to report directly to the managing director. And now I'm in a position where I'm the team lead, and so whatever every other person does comes directly to my table, and like I'm the final person, I'm the one that vets it. And so there's situations where I'm like, okay, this is good enough, let it go, because this is my field. The managing director is not in my field. I'm a lawyer, by the way. So if you know anything about lawyers, there's a way they write. And so I write this way, I report this way, and then when the MD is reporting to my team, he's like, okay, write like Ore. But whenever Ore writes, the MD is always like, you look like you're attacking people. We are not trying to attack them. And I'm like, this is the way you write as a lawyer. We don't attack you directly, but we just state matter of factly, and then you want me to simplify, oversimplify it, because I actually believe in simplification. So how do you deal with situations like that? Because this can get to you.
Has anybody had any time? You had a time you had to sit down with your MD one-on-one? Not for official things? You had. What I will ask that you do, engage him not in the office. I used to have a boss that will always not agree, even though at the end of the day she will agree. And she's a Ghanaian. I hope she's not watching me right now. Yeah, because I know she follows me a lot. So, and I discovered that I can't just reach her in the office. There will always be conflict. At the end of the day, she will see reasons to what I'm doing, but there will always be conflict. So I thought to myself, what does this woman like? I discovered that she's a family person. The day I asked her about her daughter, or now go and ask about her granddaughter, because I know their names. Oh God, that day the work has finished. Until we just shut down. We are not talking about work again. There is never conflict. Conflict never happens before. Everything I'm doing is good. We will just be talking and talking about her daughter. She will tell me where they are now. Tell me what she's doing. Tell me. It's like, okay. So, everybody have what takes them out of work, what makes them feel good outside work. I'm not sure you have had an opportunity yet to have a discussion with. I'm not talking about work. Don't get into work. If you can do, take him out for a dinner, take him out for a lunch. So I just want to, maybe on his birthday or something, anything. I mean, just anything. And one of the things you want to, when he is settled, you remember the story of that woman that wants the story of Esther, actually. Esther wants to talk to the king. And she cannot talk to the king. It's just like it's his work environment. And she said, King, I want you to come and eat. Food has a way of just shutting down everything. I want you to come and eat with me. I say, okay, when you are coming also, can you invite your friend? Let's sit down together. They eat the first time, gist, not talk anything about work, and everybody losing their gas. The second time they called again. Talk and talk and talk, and all of a sudden she just released the bomb. And the king has lost his guard already. And said, you want to do that? And the king answered, I had an opportunity also to have a discussion like that. We just went to a restaurant in Abuja, Shagalinku. We sat down, and he sat down with me to eat. I'm like, God, I don't have any question to ask this man. Because after then, I read a book on what would you say to your managing director if you have 5 minutes of his time? Will you be asking for salary raise? Would you be complaining about your job? No. You want to get into him first. So I'm saying take him out of work. He's telling people to write up the way you write. But he's looking at you and he's saying, so it looks like there is something else there. So, and he's not in your field. So there are certain things he does not know. So I'm saying take him out of office work. Take him out of the office thinking, office environment, and try to relate with him and see how that works. But I think there is something you can do. I think that's one of the things you can do to change you can change the trajectory actually with that, because it's your profession. If you oversimplify and other lawyers read it outside, they begin to like, who do they say they have in that place? So there are certain things you can't compromise, and that's one of it. So he needs to know. He needs to know, and needs to know it from outside office, please. Find a way to reach out to him outside office and take him out of the office thinking to let him know that this is what is really supposed to be. Okay? Do we have any other question? Okay.
If I may, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, ma'am.
You mentioned that when you relocate, you should continue with, continue with where you stopped. That should be your starting point. Mm-hmm. What happens where there's a situation you need recertification because where you're coming from is either the level is not accepted or it needs to be upgraded? And while you're waiting, let me paint a clearer picture. So I have a family member who worked with Department of Petroleum Resources, chemical engineering. She moves to Alberta, and in trying to get a job, she needs to recertify so that she has certain level of qualification. While she's waiting, she's working on what's available now. She's working on being a Scrum Master and suddenly got a job as in the tax office with the government. At what point in time, because these individual professions are tangent to each other, at what point in time is there a sweet spot where you wait when you want to change your career, moving from chemical engineering to project management, or you want to master taxes? Or how long would you wait pushing a specific profession?
Thank you. That's a very good question. And it's a life scenarios, really. And there is a waiting time. And because in Canada, like any other organized economy, the constant thing is bill. If you close your eyes, your bill will come. You open it, it will come. You decide to not sleep, it will come. Whatever you do, bill come, and it comes at a particular time. Bills are structures. They are structured, and you have to pay it. You cannot begin to ignore. If you ignore, one day they will just come and carry you out. So, the tendency is to always want to just do the next thing. Any job that comes your way, just do. Why I know that there are certain courses that you need to recertify for. Teachers need to recertify. Doctors need to recertify. Once the profession is regulated, then you need to recertify. But in the course of recertification, you can do something that is similar. But this time it's going to be on the lower grade. For example, I have a friend that is a pharmacologist. Not pharmacologist. She's a pharmacognosist. I'm not sure exactly what they call it, but she has PhD in something that has to do with that here. And she's moved to Canada. And she discovered that she cannot practice without recertification. So, what she does is she discovered that there is another role called pharmacist assistant. You don't need to certify for that. You can be that while you are waiting. You see, my challenge all the time is when you go outside what you know, is that because of the bill, it may be difficult for you to now return. If you go outrightly out of it, to return, it's like you are going out already. In fact, it's at a point you get even discouraged already, even doing the recertification. If you are not careful, you stop. If you even stop the process, and what you have done is you have just taken another way, and you are doing something else. One of those kind of job is customer service. Very easy to get, and once you get, you are done. You just stay there. God help you. They now give you a time. Your own time will not be when other people are working. You know, we have 4 different time zones in Canada. There are some province in Canada that are 4 hours away from another, as in 4 hours in chronology. So if I'm 1 o'clock here in that province, they are 5 o'clock. Or they are less, they are like that in the same country. They will now give you a job. The people you are working with, they are the people that are 4 hours ahead of you. So when other people are sleeping here, that's when you are working. So how do you go look for another job with that? And you know, it is difficult to pick phone when you are in that kind of a space. It's not like here that you want somebody calls you, you're at work, customer, you are telling customer, just give me a minute, just give me a minute. And you're talking to the person. A friend of mine told me that he was working in the night one day, and he thought there's nobody around, everything is okay, no, there's nothing to look at, and he just dozed off a little. They were watching him, and by the time he was supposed to be paid, they removed the hours that he was sleeping. I was like, that 1 hour's work. Well, they just showed in the picture that you were sleeping at that time. They won't fire you. No, but so I mean, that's just to tell you how structured it is. So yeah, recertification can be really difficult. Teachers, oh God, takes time to recertified. Takes time, but while you are but right there, you can still be teaching, but this time they will give you teaching assistant. And what you are doing is also still, the only difference between you and the real teacher is just that the how much they pay you per hour is different. But at least you will still be in the environment. Except you don't want to teach again. Except you don't want to practice medicine again. But if you want to practice medicine and you are there, you can't go and be doing data science. You can't go and be doing Scrum Master. And said you want to, because I understand. I really understand, but I'm saying that it's important that if what you want to do, keep to it. In the meantime, do something similar. Howbeit on a lower grade, while you are going for what you are looking for. I think it's better that way, man. I think so. Thank
you.
Yeah. Okay, so I understand that there are people that also will want to know about their chances in different points, if you want to relocate. It's out there. Part of what we can do also is send you processes, the line of process that you can go through, and different kind of streams that you can go into. What most people know is going into the pool. To get into the pool and wait till forever until you and some of us, age is not on our side. And you just be in the pool like that man by the pool of Bethsaida. You will not just have anybody to push you in. Except Jesus now come. But I got into Canada about 4 years ago. And I got in when I was 45. But I still entered. In fact, our score in the pool was just 301. If I had 301, it would just be there, and it will be reducing every year. And by the time you reduce less than 300, you just kick me out. But grace works for us. And we got PNP, the Provincial Nomination, and we got our 600 point added to it. And they just shut us up, and we're just called. So there are other streams to get. And so I'm glad Pastor Shegun is not one of the people that say it is here you must stay. You must stay. If you want to go, if you have opportunity to go, please do. I mean, what I told myself is even if it's just for 5 years, just get out first. I mean, I had a good job. I had a good job here. I mean, I was working for a Chevron JV, so I had a good job. But at the end of the day, I just discovered that this thing, it got to a point that it is not about money again. It is the same street we all passes through. We all burn the same generator. I had generator, I had inverter, I had solar, and so before you know it, everything would just pack up at the same time, and generator boys would just eat everything, and they would just be buying. I mean, I just got to a point I just got tired. But okay, I need to do something else. And I've not regretted it. I've not regretted it, and I can tell you that I have everything that seemed to have been spent has been recouped. So it will pay for itself. It will pay for itself at the end of the day. Try it. I have done it. It's paid for itself, and I've gotten structured, better structured. And it's a very fluid environment, whether in the UK, US, anywhere you want to go, as long as it's a standard, they have structures there. It just helps you plan better. You can sit down and think. I mean, that's one thing we don't do very well here. By the time you get home and there is no NEPA, you can't think. Okay, so if there's no other questions, then the next thing is just for us to, what's the plan? Can we get Pastor?
They all said no way at the back. Me, is Australia, I want to go. Please, can we put our hands together and celebrate? As in, you're clapping like I was not here. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And I believe you hear from him for those that have signed up for the mentoring, program. And some people have calling. Is called to be a mentor. Please, let's have Pastor Shegun is here. Oh, okay. I thought he was coming to bail me out on. So you can take that from me. Even if I don't want to put him on the spot. I always say that he looks out for other people. But me, that is Aburo. The original younger sisters and since when I was in primary school, when you play in your underwear. That's when I've been his younger sister. But I've seen him look out for other people and help people thrive. So I believe it's something that if you put your heart to it, you might get to hear some things at times that you don't like or some push that you'd want to push back. But let's just ensure that we maximize, that. Have you been blessed today? Have you been liberated today? How many of you see yourself in a better place by this time next year? Thriving beautifully in your career, so I think it's just good for us to end with prayer, right? Because I believe that there are thoughts and then somebody will say, Pastor D has come, the woman of prayer. Me, I reflect, and every time I hold my calling again, no matter how much I struggle with it. But I believe that by this time next year, today is what? 2nd of October, 2022. So if Jesus tarries, by 2nd of October, 2023, we have our dreams fulfilled. In the name of Jesus, we're in a better place. For those that want to transition, for those that want to exit, for those that want to jackpot, for those that want to start their businesses, I believe that 1 year is too long for God. 12 months is too much for God. But by the time we can be sure that God will do what He has promised to do. We just need to be able to push to do what we need to do.